Hello, everybody. Time for a Glasshouse Films presentation of Midnight Review with Carson, with Nick. Woo! I'm excited this week.
Me too.
I'm
like more excited than I feel like I should be or have been for like just a straight like comedy movie.
Yeah. So this week, Sorry to Bother You, which shocked me because I was like really losing hope because they're like, it goes wide on Friday, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not seeing anything pop up for it over here. Mm-hmm. And then I checked the other day or something. It's like, woo, we got one showing. We got one. So Sorry to Bother You. I don't really know what it's about, and I watched the trailer once when it first came out, and I'm like, this looks amazing. Mm-hmm. And I will not watch another one. I don't want to know anything. I want
slightly longer trailer.
Yeah.
And I feel like it gave away a couple white people voices, but I don't remember any of them.
Yeah, I think if you know who you're listening for, you're like, okay, I know who that is.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I really kind of know about this film is that Lakeith Stanfield, he is really just exploded on the scene. He was the guy who gets abducted at the start of Get Out. He was in Atlanta. You know, he's one of the three main characters of Atlanta, and he's been in a couple other things, and it's just like, shit, came out of nowhere, and he's just kind of awesome.
Yeah.
All I know is he seems to be kind of at the end of his, financial rope, and he gets a job being a telemarketer and finds out that, people don't like his ebonics or gangsta urban flavor voice. And so someone's like, hey, use your white man voice. And it seems that he becomes successful based off of that, which, okay, that's not much to build a film on, but there's also a lot of other things that I'm like, I don't know how this ties in.
Yeah, and actually,
but I want to see context.
Weird and like there seems like some weird like surrealist or some sort of fantasy aspect.
Yeah, I mean, apparently it takes place in kind of a not like alternate dimension, but like
a Black Mirror kind of. Where it's the same, but there's
Black Mirror. I think would be the best way to put it. So,
Black Mirror was a comedy.
Yeah, Black Mirror as far as like environment,
just
not
very
tone.
Like there's just a slight difference. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. I don't know.
So I'm really excited. It looks great.
Yeah, me too.
And so let's go check it out. Woo woo!
Man, I'm just out here surviving, and what I'm doing right now won't even matter.
Oh, baby, it will always matter.
You'd better talk first, or else I'm going to sound like a real pretentious dickhead.
I thought it was okay, and it reminded me a lot of John Dies at the End, but John Dies at the End is a better movie. And I thought this movie was funny. I think the trailer is pretty misleading as far as the back half of the movie goes. And that some of the messages the movie was trying to get across were a bit on the nose. But it had some really funny parts. But I think the overall narrative, okay at best. Not enough white voice. Because the white voice parts are pretty funny. And I felt like there weren't a lot of them.
So the film is about a young man named Cassius Green who... he's kind of on the ropes, financially speaking. And
I think they sort of imply that everybody is.
Yeah.
And he lives in Oakland, and he's literally just a dude trying to get by.
Yes.
Not very cause-driven.
Although his very cause-driven girlfriend, played by the... how do I say this without sounding like a disgusting pig? Very pretty Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, that works.
She is very motivated by her art and about various causes. We have actually seen this kind of archetype many times before. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm going to leave all my shit to the end, but we've seen this archetype many times before. However, I think that it's the proper use of tropes, because it's not long until we're going. Like, there's not a ton of setup necessary.
That was one of the things I did like about the movie.
And I think that in using some of these tropes that we have definitely seen before, it's like, okay, we're getting this shit out of the way because we're telling a movie. We're telling a story.
Yeah.
And
it's like we don't need to sit around and set a lot of it up.
Which surprised me, because I thought the end of the first act would be like he activates his white voice. Like, but no, it's like, oh.
No, it's
that's
pretty,
like,
one of the weird things about this movie was I had a hard time piecing together the timeline. Because it seems like at points
see how you mean.
The movie is jumping forward months.
Yes.
And then we get to a stretch of the movie where a lot of stuff is going on,
but in a very
and it's
short
only
amount
been
of time.
one day. But the way they frame it makes it seem like, again, like it's been weeks.
Yes.
That was, in the movie's very unclear when it comes to that stuff, because there's no, like, 1 week later, 2 weeks later. This is like, although I'm not a huge fan of that stuff getting used over and over and over and over again, I feel like some sort of indicator would have helped. If someone would have been like, man, it's been a crazy couple weeks or something, you know, not even necessarily like an actual card.
Yeah,
But the time, like,
because it's a very specific point where that happens,
and
but everything before then is pretty well laid out.
Well, like when he starts working there, even it seems like an overnight thing, but then he goes there and it seems like they imply it's been at least weeks.
Yes.
So, really, like, that part was really weird.
But I still like the way that was done, because I am someone who, I love it when filmmakers take risks.
There were some good transitions.
Yes.
In the movie.
And I really like when filmmakers are like, fuck you, you're with me or you're not.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And this film, we're not getting into it, but this film has a very much fuck you, you're with me or you're not moment. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I was with it, absolutely.
I was also with it, but I was still like, the actual like story being told, I was kind of like, I was with it because I like movies like John Dies at the End.
Yeah,
or what was the one with Anton?
Oh, Anton Yelkin. Odd Thomas.
Odd Thomas. Like, this is very much. It wasn't marketed like one of those movies, but it has a lot in common with John
very,
and Odd
very
Thomas.
much, very. I'm surprised
really,
this
like,
film was here.
Yeah, that's
like,
when we got to certain parts of the movie, I was like, wait, what? Because it is very. I'm not gonna say it's like absurd, because I don't want to give away anything.
The film plays things up very absurd.
It's very surreal. Like, there's a lot of really surrealist stuff happening.
Without talking,
just a photo of his dad.
Yes,
like, there's a bit.
Actually, that's better than my example was going to be.
There's a running bit with, when he works, he puts this old photo of his dad up, and throughout the movie, depending on what he's doing, what his dad's doing in the photo changes. Like, he's happy, or sad, or excited, or whatever.
The best way to put that is very much the same gag, but taken to 11 that Young Frankenstein had.
Yeah. It's a gag we've seen, in a bunch of movies.
But it really worked. It wasn't like...
the painting's changing when you're not looking, that kind of thing. It's like a running gag, and everybody just acts like it's a normal thing. Nobody ever mentions it.
Yeah. I think... so, along with that, I think every actor... Okay, before we actually get to the actors, one last thing about the plot. Again, not really going into it, but the relationship stuff that happens in the film and then how it is handled, I am really impressed, and I'm really glad they went that particular way with it. That they're like, you know what?
I didn't really care much for it, honestly.
I can definitely see someone feeling that way about it. What I'm getting at is that is a very brief and honest conversation two characters have about it.
Yeah,
and I like that.
For me, it was like two scenes that just, like, didn't need to be in the movie. Especially because they were almost back to back, and it was like, oh, problem, and one scene. There's literally actually one scene between those two scenes.
Yeah.
And it's like problem
I still
and
love the way it was handled.
Resolved, and it's, I don't know, it was just like, okay, I guess that was like a couple minutes in the movie. The thing is, it wasn't, I mean, it's literally about 2 minutes in the movie, but I was like, I'm not too attached to that.
But it also, the other thing is, it also could have been a big deal that went on for a really long time instead of a very expeditious.
I honestly thought that they had that whole relationship between those characters like handled.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of stirred the pot and then unstirred the pot very like back to back.
I think it was I liked it. Which kind of leads us into the actors. So Tessa Thompson, as we previously mentioned, the gorgeous Tessa Thompson, fantastic. I loved the exact way that she played her character, because she is pretentious, but the way the movie handles her is not.
I think her acting was okay. I fucking hated her character the whole movie. Because there's one bit with her character that goes completely unexplained. And yeah,
it's so hot in there. We don't want to be too glistening.
There's one bit with her character that goes completely unexplained, and it's super out of character for her. And it never got resolved. And it's almost like they acted like it didn't happen. And I thought it was gonna be when this scene with her started. I thought it was gonna be a big deal, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was taken aback that what was going on wasn't a big deal to like any character, and I was like, it was a huge like plot thread for me that just completely disappeared.
Yeah, I still think I liked the way it was executed.
That was one of the... Now, there was a joke that was one of the funniest jokes in the movie in that same fucking scene.
Especially if you know where it comes from.
Exactly. Like, but the actual... Like, my problem with the movie wasn't, like, the jokes. It was just the plot went a bunch of different ways, and a bunch of stuff didn't get explained, and there's a lot of... I can't even talk about the continuity stuff because it takes place after, like, the with me or not sort of moment.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of little plot threads that just don't get wrapped up. And I was like, all right, that was funny. Like, you got some good jokes. Like, you got jokes, but can you construct, like, a better narrative? Especially for a movie that's, like, very clearly trying hard to, like, show us, like, some important social issues, but then just leaves a lot of the plot, like, just kind of out there, dangling, like, not a lot of stuff. I feel like the majority of stuff, and in fact, I will actually go as far to say that only one real plot thread got wrapped up, and that sort of bugged me.
Yeah. Okay.
At the end of the movie, funny, like, the jokes, funny. If you go there and you're like, I want to laugh, but not, like, too hard, but I kind of want to chuckle at some witty stuff, laugh out loud a couple times, like, good movie. As far as...
So going back to the actors, I think Lakeith Stanfield, the main character, Cassius Green, fantastic. Absolutely pitch perfect, and I can't wait to see him in more things.
Yeah, he was really good.
Stephen Yeun, I feel really stupid that I don't know how to put that. Glenn from The Walking Dead, once again proving that he's quietly a really damn good fucking actor.
Yeah, I liked him. I liked him a lot in the movie too.
And then their kind of third friend, I really liked him. I felt like this world was very packed with characters that we could have easily just spent a lot of time on, and I love when films are constructed in that way. And who else? Army, Mr. Army. I love him in pretty much everything he's in.
Yeah.
And you put him in something, and I'm there. And it bugs me that he's kind of got a raw deal in Hollywood ever since what was it? The Lone Ranger movie that sucked ass. But it's weird. Anytime he's in an indie film, he's awesome. Like Call Me by Your Name, Free Fire, this. I mean, I'm just like,
Yeah.
do it more, please. With all of that being said, so now comes my pretentious bullshit, where I say a lot of things that you're just gonna be like, you fucking asshole.
Well, yeah, because
Yeah. Boots Riley is a bold new voice in American cinema. And while this film, yes, has its problems, it displays quite an understanding of filmmaking language that is superb, the likes of which I haven't seen in quite some time. This is a loud announcement of someone who has many things to say, and over the course of his film career will become even better at saying them. And I feel honored to have been part of the initial push of his cinematic voice. And this weekend, I will definitely go and see this film again.
it was okay.
I absolutely adored it. I do not disagree with many of the things you said, but even then, I feel that there was such an overwhelming voice behind it that it barreled through any other issues that really exist, for me at least. And if you were into this wacky ass weird shit, that if you were already on board with the idea of selling things using your whitest voice possible, I think you're gonna be on board with a lot more of what this film does. What it has to say, maybe, maybe not. How it does it, maybe, maybe not. But at least, you have to at least try it, because you know what? There is nothing else out here like this. I feel that, in large parts, this film beats Idiocracy at its own game. Idiocracy is a more on-the-nose version of what this film is trying to do, and it breezes through it. This film is not trying to say the same things Idiocracy is saying, but it uses some of the same language and beats it. It is far better at those little moments.
Nah, I don't agree with that. I think Idiocracy is...
I actually can't fucking stand Idiocracy.
Idiocracy is like a utopia. If you really think about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying the movie is...
I think this took a bunch of parts from Idiocracy, especially like the television stuff, and just kind of used it as a punchline and not as like a actual like message in the movie. It was more a punchline. I don't know, man. I just think if you like Idiocracy and you like John dies at the end, combine them and you get this movie with a more plot-filled or more hole-filled storyline.
At a certain point, I gave up on trying to guess where the movie was going next. I'm like, fuck it, take me away. And I love when films do that. There have been very few movies this year that have really blown me away in the same way, or have even come close. And this coupled with Hereditary, I mean, both of those are very loud announcements of filmmakers whose career I can't wait to see more of. And wow.
How many other movies has this guy done?
This is his first film.
Alright, for a first movie, it's good. I definitely...
That's why I said for a lot of it, I'm like, you know what?
You know what,
it's his first film.
For a first film... Like, I'll give it a pass on a lot of that stuff. Like, I'll see more of this guy's stuff.
It very much felt like...
If this was like a third or fourth movie, I'd be like, okay, no, thank you.
Yeah, this very much felt like he had so many ideas. Boots Riley had so many ideas that he just needed to get out there.
There was just like, if we could just focus in on either, like...
Yeah.
Give me some weird, surreal stuff, or give me characters, or give me, like, a good narrative, but don't give me, like, you know, a third of all three.
as I said, I can't wait to see more of Boots Riley's work.
Yeah, if this is the first film, I'm looking forward to more of it, because like it was, like for me it was the movie was a bit all over the place, but overall I still enjoyed it. I'm definitely not close to enamored with it as you are.
I kind of hit a certain point. I'm like,
but you also hate like most AAA releases and love indie films. So
I don't hate most AAA releases.
But you love most indie films.
I don't love most indie films. I love
about every indie film we watch. There's you singing praises.
Not quite. I mean, okay.
But I'm not even gonna call this indie film. We saw the 7 p.m. midnight release.
To be fair,
full theater.
The indie films that I usually sing a lot of praises for are ones that are like super weird and out there, not things like the Skeleton Twins, where it's like, or movies that I don't care how this really comes off, movies that are, I'm gay and sad, let's play floaty guitar music the whole time.
What is that?
Most of what Sundance plays.
I wasn't sure if that was like Love, Simon or something.
I actually liked Love, Simon.
That was the only movie I could think of with a gay guy in it this year.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a Sundance guy.
I guess if I compare this, as far as indie films go, if I compare this to like Upgrade,
oh damn,
I like Upgrade more because it was very like focused for whatever that movie's flaws.
Yeah, and I love film. This is why I love films that take a chance. Is because we can get such a broad array of just crazy shit. Like, the same year that Upgrade was released, 2018, we also got... Current year. We also got Annihilation, another film I adored. We got Maze Runner, The Death Cure, a AAA release that I'm like, I really liked that film. I really liked it. We get shit like Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's why I get really fed up with films that are just, with AAA releases in particular, that are just like fucking Skyscraper. Fucking great. Great.
You don't like the Arnold of our generation?
I am so much more happy. Well, Rampage, shit. The dude's had 2 movies this year. What, 3+ this calendar? 4 in the past 2 years that are just like big action movies. I'm like, yeah, he can hold a film together.
Jumanji.
But I really want the fucking movie to raise up to his standards too. I mean, that was the thing, is sitting in the cinema, and that's another thing. Indie releases, sitting in the cinema, the first like 2 or 3 films, I'm like, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. We get to, oh shit, I've completely forgotten the name of it, but it's a movie, Blind Spotting. Get to Blind Spotting, and I'm like, well,
which one was that?
That's the one with the guy who he's like at his last week of parole.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
and I'm like, fuck, I need to see that movie right now.
Intense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean,
we have got a lot of different movies.
It's not just indie films.
This movie was very different from anything else we've seen this year. And I thought the movie was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. I go kind of the Roper route with all of this, where I'm like, if you do something different, I'm giving you points.
Yeah, like, especially for like it being first film.
Yeah.
I'll definitely give them points for that, because there are definitely like better, more respected directors that have had worse first films. So,
yeah. I mean, it's very rare to see a director come out with this strong a voice in their first film. We can't all be Michael Mann.
We can't all be, the Denny V, dude. He's just putting out banger after fucking banger every year.
Yeah. So.
But overall, I liked it.
I would
definitely say I'm gonna lose sleep over you just shitting all over Idiocracy.
Yep.
But.
Sorry, I've held that in for months now.
You can hold it in as much as you want, but this movie has a ton in common with Idiocracy. And I would literally say that this movie is like a 50-50 combo of Idiocracy and John dies at the end.
I see it a different way, but I completely understand how you get there.
Yeah, they're very similar.
So next week fuck is coming out next week?
I don't know. Some stuff's coming up that I didn't realize was not that far away.
Yeah.
But I also can't remember those movies.
I can barely remember what I saw last
Not Mission
week.
Impossible, right? Is it Mission Impossible?
No, Mission Impossible's in 2 weeks. Fuck.
I don't know.
That's the one I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I gotta bone up on. Yeah, I gotta bone up.
Recharge the arms.
Gotta recharge
Fucker.
them.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right, well, we'll be here for that next week. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below what you thought, and shit, what you think about Idiocracy and John dies at the end. I'd like to know. I like knowing these things about you people, about the viewers.
You people.
YouTube.com/GlassFilmsHouse, Twitter @GlassHouseFilms, and Facebook.com/GlassHouseFilms. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next week for whatever the shit they're playing. Bye. Woo.